Hello, everyone, and welcome to the United Stand. I am live, just got back from the Legends game. There's been a lot of football going on today, and I can already see the comments rolling in. Mark isn't here because he's on his way back from his managerial performance at the Sidemen charity game, which unfortunately I didn't get to watch because I was at the Legends game. The Legends game as well was also a good watch. But yeah, Goldbridge was in the gaffer seat today, so he isn't doing the show, and he did a very good job from what I've heard and from what I've seen. I think the keeper let him down from a win, which I think he deserved to get. And yeah, I mean, a high scoring game, and you can't say that he doesn't play attacking football. So yeah, he's got the attacking football down. Maybe just needs to tighten up at the back, might need to sign a new goalkeeper or something like that. But yeah, well done to Goldbridge on doing that. It's a really good cause. I think over $1 million has been raised for charity, which is amazing. So yeah, I just thought I'd give a little shout out to Mark for that one because he just managed a Sidemen charity game and earned loads of money for charity. So it's really, really good. And I'm sure all of you guys found it really entertaining. But the show must go on. And with that being said, I've been at football all day. Goldbridge has been doing his football all day, but there's still been Manchester United news that we're bringing to you guys here on the United Stand because this is what we do. We talk about all the football news and we've got some stuff to bring you here as well. And obviously, earlier this morning, the comments came out from Maguire, so we're going to touch on them. We've also had comments coming out from Cruyff and Koeman about Erik ten Hag, which we're also going to dissect and go through, and I'll get your guys' opinions on that as well. And yeah, also going to talk about a little bit what Yapstan and Janssen said to me. Sorry, Janssen said to me at the charity game because they had some comments around Maguire and Erik ten Hag as well. So it'll be interesting to see what ex-players who have won things with United, unlike Maguire, and know what it takes to win, have to say about Manchester United now under Erik ten Hag and the players that are playing. So we've got a lot to get into. Also might touch upon the derby because we've seen a lot of our players playing on international duty, praying none of them get injured. But at the moment, I don't know if you guys have it on in the background or if you've seen, Ronaldo has been punched in the face, not on purpose, by the goalkeeper, and he looks quite injured. So I'm just hoping that we've got players fit on international break. It's great to see our players doing well, but the most important thing is to play for Manchester United and get wins in the Premier League because we can't have our players being injured for that. So hopefully everything goes well there. But starting off on the main topic of the show, which is surrounding Harry Maguire. And I feel like even though Maguire hasn't been playing for Manchester United, he's still always in the news. And some would say it's his own doing by making comments like this, and also the leaks that came from Mark Ogden of a source close to Maguire. We know that wasn't Maguire himself, but it's still someone in his camp leaking that. And this is where the noise comes from because, I mean, if you're not leaking stuff and you're not coming out giving people to talk about, I think the news on Maguire would have been very, very slow. And I don't think there really would have been anyone saying anything. The main thing that people want is for Maguire to perform well on the pitch and for Maguire to, when he does get a chance, for him to play. And at the moment, people think his best position is on the bench. So no one's complaining about his performances because he isn't putting in performances because he's not playing. But when comments come out from the press and when comments come out through leaks, then it is going to be talked about and people are going to be looking at that and dissecting it and thinking, why are you saying this? So yeah, we've got to get into them and get into what he said, because I read these earlier and I was like, not again. It feels like it's just constant blame shifting. It feels like there's just a constant something to say, there's an excuse. And personally, for me, what I would have liked Harry Maguire to do as captain of Manchester United, if he was going to do an interview after the Italy game in which we got beat, England got beat, come out and, if you get asked about Manchester United, take some responsibility, say that you haven't been having your best game, but you're prepared to work hard to get back in. And also, maybe when the comments come out from Ogden about you blaming De Gea and not having an English-speaking goalkeeper, Diaz would do bad at Manchester United and I would do good. Well, he would do good because it was a source talking at City. Maybe come out and shut that down, because it isn't a good look to be not really getting behind the squad that, when someone in that you are slating is in De Gea, is winning games for us right now, and you're sat on the bench. when we're winning. So I think I would have handled things completely different if I was the captain of Manchester United, and I'm sure a lot of people would. But this is what he said, so we've got to get onto it and get through it and get your guys' opinions on it. So, Maguire's comments are: I came off the back of 3 positive games with England in the summer and a good pre-season. I felt really good. Obviously, the manager Erik ten Hag decided to leave me out for a game, and the team have been winning since. I am working hard on the training pitch to make sure I am ready for when my opportunity comes. All that, I think, is fine. That is all I can do to try and help the team. This is the bit where I'm like, I'm not concentrating on anybody else and what people are saying. I think if people make a story about me, I am Manchester United captain, it is going to make big news. So that is the reason they do it. They like the clicks and things like that. And I went into the Euros after an 8-week injury and did not play one game and still got into team of the tournament. In terms of rustiness and things like that, I'm sure it won't happen. So Maguire there for me started off with, I'm working hard to get on the training pitch. Erik ten Hag decided to leave me out for a game and the team have been winning since. Yeah, because you lost the first 2 and you've played really badly. And you've been winning since. And apart from the game that you played, we didn't win that one. And I'm not trying to scapegoat him, but it's frustrating when he moves on to say that after an 8-week injury, I didn't play one game and got into the team in the tournament. It's like at the Euros, is that an achievement for you? Like, is that an achievement, getting into team of the tournament after having an injury? It just seems like it's excuse. It's trying to pluck up things that are positive around you to say. And I'm not being funny. Would anyone with a winner's mentality come out and be like, I was injured, but I got in team of the tournament is a form of defense? I don't think they would. Roy Keane wouldn't do that. I mean, look at Ronaldo. Would he be going around like boasting about getting into team of the tournament after being injured? No, he'd be working hard to try and win something. So, yeah, I understand his position in the fact that he will be frustrated that he's not playing, but at the end of the day, the reason you aren't playing is because you're not good enough. And if you're not good enough, work hard to be good enough. Don't make excuses like David De Gea couldn't communicate with you properly. Don't make excuses like I was injured and I still got in team for the tournament. And it relates back to that time when he did that interview. And I remember it now. And he basically said, every manager so far has picked me, so I can't be that bad. That isn't an achievement. That's not something you should be talking about. You should be saying, I haven't won anything with Manchester United yet. It's a big ambition of mine. And I'm not playing well enough for that to happen. I'm working hard to do that, and I want to support the team the best way I can. That's what should be coming out if he's going to speak, not hiding in interviews for Manchester United. And then when you're speaking with England, not really talking about what you need to be doing to get back in the team, instead bringing up getting into team of the tournament at the Euros after being injured as if it's some sort of achievement. So, yeah, I'm not. That for me, I don't. It didn't really sit right. It wasn't anything horrible. Like, I didn't watch it and think, oh, he's really thrown Manchester United under the bus there. And I don't think maybe he meant it to come off that way. But I just think it just is clear from each interview that he is done. That it's not a winner's mentality there, in my opinion. But let's see what you guys think as well. Ranta says he's portraying the character of a person who thinks that his status is justification to where he is. He's got belief in himself like Ronaldo. Yeah, you should have belief in yourself as a footballer, but you can't use things that like, you can't use certain things as an excuse that just can't be made as an excuse in professional football when you want to be winning stuff at the top of your game. Barry says Harry Pinheiro is better than Harry Maguire. Yeah, well, in the charity match today, Harry Pinheiro, I heard, had a very, very good game at centre-back and probably would do a better job. And everyone's saying that's the Harry Beckenbauer that we've been waiting for. So, yeah, it's not great. Not a great look for me surrounding Maguire. Maguire wouldn't be first choice centre back for England. Never mind United. Well, yesterday as well, I'm not trying to go in on massively because I thought Southgate's tactics were absolutely horrendous. And again, playing a back 5, it wasn't working. There was no cutting edge up front. The team just looked hopeless, I thought. And going into a World Cup after one more game, it looks like we've run out of ideas. And I think this has been coming with Southgate for a long time. But Maguire playing in that back five on the left still looked poor in a back five. And with Saka there as the wing back as well, it just was not working. We come again up against an Mbappe or a team that have a really good winger on that side. It's game over. It needs to be changed. And I know people say Maguire play I know Maguire. People say Maguire plays well for England, and he did do that, but he has done that in the past. But yesterday again, he looked poor, and he's just looked poor for a long time. So you can be poor, you can go through poor patches of form as a footballer, but what people expect is you to still come out with a good attitude and that winning mentality, not coming out trying to make a claim that you're okay because you got into Euros team of the tournament and every manager's pitch you, and just some excuses that he's come out with isn't good. And it doesn't also look good on the back of the comments that came out of his friend as well, whoever it was, the source close to him. It just doesn't build up to come across to the fans in the right way, and that's why you're getting talked about quite a lot, and that's why there is news surrounding you. That's why people are writing articles that are going to get clicks, because there's stuff there to be talked about, and it is always going to happen. Oh, and someone says that Dalot has just scored for Portugal. So I'm really happy about that, because Diogo Dalot is a player that is improved massively under Eric Ten Hag, and I think deserves to be starting for Portugal and is doing, and also is a player that I think is going to become an extremely good right back under Eric Ten Hag, and he's already looking fantastically improved and very suited to that Eric Ten Hag system. A player that really kind of has got that mentality, and I feel like that winning mentality just keeps building within him, and also looks more of a leader at that right back spot, and he's actually playing a very good game consistently now. So for Portugal to be winning 1-0 because of Dalot, it's good stuff. It's like how it feels like so long ago that when United players went out onto international break, they were starting for their country. They were playing really well for their country. They were grabbing the headlines. Like, it feels like so long ago that was the case. But this international window, we've had Casemiro's been starting for Brazil. Eriksen scored a brilliant goal for Denmark. Scott McTominay played well for Scotland. Dalot's just scored. It's really good. Varane, captain's performance and a brilliant performance for France. So it's really good to see our players like playing international football and getting plaudits for it as well. And it keeps that drive there and that winning mentality there, especially with the likes of Dalot. His form coming back, he's been so consistent from the start of the season. A break from winning game by game can sometimes kind of disrupt you, but scoring a goal for Portugal, it's just going to get his confidence up, and his form, I think, will definitely continue. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I feel like Eric Ten Hag is getting the best out of these players. And Giblet Studio says Dalot is nearly 20, so he's early 20s, so hasn't even peaked yet. Yeah, I think Dalot's 23, if I'm not wrong. He's the same age as Malacia. So Malacia to me seems younger because we've just brought him in, and he is obviously a young player. And Dallow's been at the clubs for, I think, since he was a teenager. He's been at the club for a long time. So with Dalot, it feels like he's older than what he is. So Ten Hag gets hold of him now and coaches him the way he has been doing and keeps this level up and builds on that. We could have a really, really good player on our hands. And I do think there's always been a player there in Dalot. It's just improving his defensive abilities and improving his crossing and just kind of refining his game, which Eric Ten Hag has definitely been able to do since he's come in. So it's exciting. I mean, step up, get coached, work hard, you'll get your opportunity. And Dalot is definitely one that's taken it. And certain players, like we'll move on to in a second, just suit certain systems better. When I was talking about Maguire's comments at the start of the show, his comments is what bothers me. It's like everyone knows his form isn't great. So just work hard, keep your head down, get back into that team. Don't need to go making excuses. So yeah, that it's really good to see that Dalot has scored, and hopefully he has a good performance tonight. But moving on to what Jonsson and Stam had to say about Maguire, Stam had to say about Maguire at the charity game. We did do an interview with them, me and Adam. If you can see it on Twitter, it might be going up on YouTube. I'm not too sure. You'll have to kind of check and see about that later on. If it does go up, it'll go up soonish. And we asked him about Maguire because obviously they're centre backs, and we wanted to ask them about Erik ten Hag's new signings and what they think. They've won stuff with Manchester United, the brilliant players when they played. I mean, Stam, I thought and Johnson were actually two good players today in the charity game. So yeah, a lot of players have lost that pace, and it's bound to happen when you get older. But we did get a chance to grab them for an interview, and Jaap Stam said that the team isn't quite there yet with the way Ten Hag wants to play. And when we asked about Maguire and bringing in new players, he did say that players need to have competition. If players automatically think you're going to get your spot back, then they're not at the right club. And he said he thinks Harry Maguire knows that, and Harry Maguire is going to work really hard to get back into the team, and he's just got to wait for either a suspension or an injury for him to come in. And if he plays, he knows he's going to have a good game. And that's the difference. He said the training will be elevated. Everything will be elevated because you know your spot is up for grabs. And whereas before, when we didn't really have that competition, that didn't happen. And Ralph Britz just said, Maguire is lucky to be captain. I think he is lucky to be still captain, to be honest with you. I think having a captain that isn't consistently playing just doesn't work. I don't think. I think it should be someone who's consistently playing week in, week out at the team. And can I see Maguire playing week in, week out for Erik ten Hag? No. Genuinely, I cannot see it happening. The only way it happens is if Varane or Martinez gets injured. And even when they come back from injury, they're going to slot straight back in and Maguire will go back down to the bench. It's just such a good pairing. And it's Erik ten Hag's pairing that he's built and made and suits his system as well. So, and it's just different levels. So why have a captain that isn't ever going to get back in my opinion? I just don't think, even if he worked hours and hours on the training pitch and did improve, pace at the end of the day is what you need for Erik ten Hag's system. And Maguire doesn't have that. So I don't see why he's still captain. Maybe he'll change it next summer. I mean, maybe he'll change it at the start of next season because he's not playing as much. Maguire won't be happy if he's not had much game time at that point. Maybe they'll be looking for some sort of something to shift. Erik ten Hag, I'm sure, won't be happy about the comments that are coming out surrounding the club on international duty. We've already spoken on a show before that he won't be too happy with that. I don't think he'll be happy, especially with Ogden's article about the source from Harry Maguire talking about David De Gea, talking about a squad member. That coming from a captain leaks. It's not good for the morale and for the squad mentality. It needs to be like a siege mentality, and that isn't good for that. So maybe he'll use that to kind of give Maguire a little bit of a warning. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. And if there is any more leaks coming back from international duty, because we're used to stuff like that being leaked out to the press, hopefully that won't be the case, because even though we like to know what's going on, the best thing is that nothing is leaked because it just reflects better on the squad and you can see the respect is there for Erik ten Hag in that way. Amanda, a member, just said Varane should be captain. Me and Adam were talking about this today and we're saying the way he captained France, the way he's stepped up to the plate, the fact Erik ten Hag said himself in an interview that Varane is leading that back line, is being a real leader in there. If Varane can stay fit, he's a massive shout for captain. Respect from everyone because of the amount he's won everything there is to win in Spain. Is still, I think he's 28, so still kind of in his prime. He's not coming towards the end of his career. He's definitely going to be a starter whenever he's fit, and is a brilliant player. Also leads from the back, and the way he captained France proves he can do it. So yeah, I think Varane is a massively good shout, and it definitely is. Gums Benjamin says if Dalot can have more assists, he'll be one of the best. He's improved on his positioning and defending massively. I agree with you on that. Dalot is in my fantasy football. I'm hoping the assists will come, but the clean sheets are starting to definitely come with him there, and you can tell he's working well in that Erik ten Hag system. He's getting in good position, so hopefully we'll start to see that progress. But yeah, we got a little bit distracted there with some of the comments, but it's part of the show. It's part of I love seeing your guys' comments and bringing it in. So yeah, we were on Stam, what he was saying about Maguire. And I just also wanted to bring in Jonsson's comments as well, because he's another player, won things, brilliant player in his day. So wanted to get his kind of thoughts on stuff. And he says, similar to Yapstam, always competition for places and have to perform when you play. If not, you're dropped. Have to fight for places, and we have now got that competition. As a player, you should always want to play. As a centre half, for the opposition that you're going to play, you might not be suited to it, or you might be suited to it. The first thing a manager does when he comes in is looks at the centre backs and the centre midfield. It is important to have a good partnership. You have to know each other extremely well. Maguire has been on the bench, but you have to have a really strong partnership as a centre back pairing. So again, Jonsson making it very, very clear that it is all about the centre back pairing, and it's the first thing a manager looks at. Did we speak to Melissa Reddy about the Varane situation in pre-season, and how one of the first things Erik ten Hag did is put Raphael Varane on a training program, on a fitness regime, to make sure that he was fit, to make sure that he wasn't getting injured consistently. So that was the first thing that happened. I think she described it as them coming into kind of training and realizing he's the best centre back we've got, and this guy has to stay fit. He then signed his own centre back in Lisandro Martinez, and he's come in and he's been brilliant. And even when the first two games when he was playing with Maguire and people were going in on Martinez because, let's be honest, he's not English and because he's 5'9", Erik ten Hag kind of clapped back in that and said, well, the stats show he's doing absolutely nothing wrong. The stats show he's playing well. Funnily enough, when he gets paired with Varane, they play absolutely brilliantly together and the best of Martinez comes out. So for me, Erik ten Hag, he's got Varane in the best centre-back that we have. And if he's fit, he's absolutely brilliant, and he knows that. I think he was just building up his fitness and making sure he was consistently fit enough to play. And you've got Martinez, who he has signed for a decent fee. He's worked with for years and plays exactly the way he wants to play, aggressive, pushes up the pitch, quick. He's brilliant with the ball at his feet. Tell me how Harry Maguire breaks into that pairing. He just doesn't. He just doesn't. So that's, for me, is where I genuinely think for Maguire, like, what is the end game there? I mean, I think it's too soon to kind of get carried away on certain things, but looking into the future, Maguire, 80 million, he's not going to want to be sat on the bench week in, week out for continuous time. At the moment, we're at the stage where he when he does get a chance, which he will, some Europa League games, League Cup games, if anyone gets injured and if there's a suspension, he'll come in. But I feel like if Varane and Martinez keep playing the way they're doing, keep building on that partnership that they've already formed brilliantly after only a few games, they're always going to come back in because they can play Erik ten Hag's style better. Like Jonsson said, a manager will come in and look at the centre-backs and the centre midfield, and you might be suited to play, you might not be suited to play. Maguire isn't suited to a high line. Erik ten Hag will want to play a high line. Erik ten Hag wants to play out quickly from the back. Maguire can play out from the back, but not at pace. And this is why I just don't think he's kind of got a future. I might be too early to say that, but we'll have to wait and see. And everyone in the comments, see, this is why I like having the comments on, because I can see instant game updates. And Bruno has scored for Portugal. So we've got Bruno and Dalot. Just as I was saying that our players are doing really well on international duty, Bruno's played. Bruno's scored. Bruno's played. He was already playing. Bruno scored, which is great to see. And I think Bruno needs to bring goals back into his game. He's been playing better, but obviously he's scored one so far this season. Bruno, I think he's capable of more than that. He's missed a couple of chances. So the fact he's scored for Portugal, Portuguese Magnifico. God, I've got my words stuck there. The fact he's scored for Portugal, again, helps form. Again, it helps him confidence-wise and gives him good confidence going into the next game, which is against Manchester City, which we'll get onto in a little bit. And Lil Yo-Yo says, Maguire is like moving He's moving like the pirate from Captain Phillips. Look at me, I'm the captain now. I love that film. It's a brilliant film, that, and I know exactly what you mean. So yeah, and yeah, everyone in the comments excited that Bruno scored, and yeah, it's good to see our players doing well on international duty. Like I've said, some people thrive under Erik ten Hag and be suited to the model that he wants to play, and massively benefit from the coaching that he offers. Some people will definitely improve because his coaching's good, but you've got to think about the fact Erik ten Hag has inherited this squad. Not every player is suited to his style, so not all players are going to work in the future, and you'll see that in the coming transfer windows, I feel like, as well. Which manager will drop Martinez and Malacia for Rana Maguire? I'm not sure what you mean, but they play different positions. Just need Ronaldo to score for a United hat trick. Well, I hope he does. I know he's carried on with that. I think it looked like he had a concussion to me. I hope he's okay, like he's okay to play on. We know Ronaldo would want to. He's desperate for goals, desperate to get his form back up, and he's always going to try and play on the most he can. So yeah, I hope he gets a goal because, again, it helps his form. And I know Ronaldo always has confidence, but you still have this thing in the back of your head, no matter how confident you are. I haven't scored consistently for a while. I want to score. So yeah, we'll have to see. I hope Ronaldo does because it helps United, it helps the team, it helps the morale, and it's important. It's important for all the squad to be doing good. Oh, my voice is going a bit raspy there. It's all the talking I've done all day, but yeah, I can continue on for you guys, just about. But hopefully Ronaldo doesn't get concussion and he is fit for the Manchester derby, because it looked like quite a big punch to the face on that one. I know he had it looked like his cheeks are swollen up and everything. So we'll have to see surrounding that. But yeah, moving on to some comments about Erik ten Hag and the team in general, and about what Koeman and Cruyff had to say about Erik ten Hag and the way that he's kind of started the season. And here we've got quotes from Ronald Koeman saying, "You need time as a coach. I think United understands that they have to give Erik ten Hag time, and then United will come back. I'm sure of that." He then goes on to say, "Erik ten Hag is a coach who likes good football. He likes to play attacking football, and with some good signings and time, he will bring United back to the top of the Premier League." So interesting stuff on Koeman there, thinking that Erik ten Hag actually has the ability. I mean, I think this, but some people might have doubts this early on. He thinks Erik ten Hag has the ability to bring Manchester United back to the top of the Premier League, and top for me means number one. So I massively, massively hope Koeman's right on that one. I think out of every manager we have had since Sir Alex, he's definitely the manager that is the most promising, has the highest ceiling, has the most potential. It's only been a few games, but you can just see how different things are, and the way he's the boss. He believes in himself. He's confident in himself, in his own decisions. He'll make bold decisions, and you can tell he doesn't kind of let outside noise affect him, which is really important. And he's had some good tactical performances already as well. I think that Arsenal one was great from him. So I do agree with Koeman on that. I think he's definitely the manager that can bring Manchester United back. But like he said, you definitely need time as a coach, and Man United will give him time. I hope that. I hope of that. But I already think he's doing pretty well, to be honest with you. First two games were a write-off. He learnt from them. But if we can carry on this kind of consistency, I think we're definitely doing better than what we expected at this point. Apparently someone's missed a penalty. Can someone tell me who missed a penalty? In what game? Because was it Ronaldo? I'm not sure because the game's not on. So let me know about that one. Ronaldo conceded a penalty. People tell me different things here. I don't know who to believe. But yeah, moving on to what Cruyff had to say surrounding Manchester United, because they were kind of in like a sit-down interview, if you've not seen it. And Cruyff said that United have always had these years a good squad. I mean, if you look at their squad and player by player, you can see that there's a good squad. So there's never been a lack of talent. Agree to disagree on that one. We've had a few players that haven't been up to it, I'm not going to lie, at the standards that we want. And then he says, but sometimes good players don't make a winning team, and that's part of the formula. that things are getting more complicated. Like before, you would just say, he's a good player, he fits our style of play, our DNA, we'll sign him. Nowadays, it's not about that player. It's about fitting him in with the player beside, in front, and on the side of him. Can they play together? And that's already a completely different story. It's not like a computer game. You can't just sign this one and then that one. So what he's trying to say in a convoluted way, because even I was getting confused reading that out, is that it's not all about the individual players and how good they are talent wise. It's about the team and who brings the best out in each other as a team and building something that works as a unit. Like all the cogs are turning on different parts of the team to make it work efficiently and be at the best of the ability. It's like we've seen Paul Pogba, massively talented footballer. I still think he's a massively talented footballer, but he just did not work for us. And people would say he needs a solid DM with him. He needs this, he needs that. He needs to play on the left. He needs to play left side of midfield. He needs a different formation. And it just never ended up working because he wasn't really suited to our team. It just weren't going to happen. Doesn't mean he can't fit well in a different team. So there can be players that he's like Ronaldo right now. Ronaldo is a brilliant player, but Rashford's getting him ahead of him because it suits the team better at this moment in time. At this moment in time, it suits the team better in the way that Erik ten Hag's been playing since the losses in the Brentford and Brighton game. So is Ronaldo a better striker than Rashford? Talent-wise, yes. Is Rashford fitting the team better and potentially performing better with him as the striker? Also, yes. So it's like, that's at this moment in time, guys. I'm not saying that for 100% for the future. That's going to be the case. But I get what Cruyff's trying to say. You need players to fit well as a unit. And this is where Eriksen comes in. Not only is Eriksen massively talented, he fits that team so well in the position he's playing. We've been missing him, a player like him, for so long. And he's come in, and I've not seen someone play like that in a long time in Manchester United's midfield. That Scholes role, taking the ball, bringing it forward, picking out passes, sitting deep, also knowing when to get forward, spreading passes across the pitch, consistently good week in, week out. So, yeah, it's important to get not only the individuals playing well, but them playing well as a unit, and making sure everything's working in all the right places. And Anthony Johnston, thank you for putting a super chat in to tell me, updating me what's happening. I really appreciate that. He said Ronaldo conceded a handball penalty and Schnick missed the spot kick with a shocker over the bar. Well, at least he didn't end up giving away a penalty that scored. That wouldn't have been great for the confidence. So at least that's not happened. At least he did miss it. Yeah, so I've got the gist of what's happening there. But moving on to more of Cruyff's comments, and it says, in the end, it's about finding the right balance. And I think with Ten Hag, United have got their new air. It feels as if it's a start, only the start. It's a new start, and I'm talking only from the outside, from what I read and I follow a bit. But a new start gives a lot of expectancies, so it's also always difficult to manage that. And the Premier League, it's a tough league, and it's very hard to know at the beginning of the season who will be in the top four. We'll get on to that in a second. And then he moves on to say, so in that aspect, it's a tough challenge, but with time and patience, with the necessary moves on the transfer period, I'm sure that United will get back to where they need to get to. So positivity coming out from Cruyff and Koeman on Erik ten Hag, which is really nice to see, because we've seen sometimes in the English media not always positive things about new managers that haven't been in the Premier League before, managers that sign people that aren't English. So sometimes there can already be agendas against him in that way. But Erik ten Hag has proved to everybody that he's more than capable of taking on this job at a time when it was really tough for him at the Liverpool game. And I think people are starting to take notice and starting to kind of understand that this guy is really serious, and he's definitely got the potential to take United to the top, and things are definitely improving. And when he spoke about it's very hard to know who's going to get top four, I agree with him on that sense. For me, it's like, unfortunately, it's like City's nailed on for the league, I feel like. And then the rest, up until sixth place, is all to play for. All to play for. I know Arsenal are getting massively carried away, but they're in the same boat. It's like Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, United, all them 5 teams, couldn't tell you. where each one would finish in that top 6 at the moment. I think each one has different attributes. Each one, I think, is either going to go up in form, drop in form. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I sincerely hope Manchester United will get top 4. And if someone had to say to me now, Beth, say if United will get top 4, yes or no, put some money on it, I would say yes. Yes, at this moment in time. But that might be the international break, and that might be my naivety and bias getting ahead of me on that one. Maybe after the derby, I'll think differently. But again, the derby, I think we definitely could potentially get a result. It's not unheard of. Our City playing brilliantly. Yes, is Haaland a machine that sometimes you just can't even defend against? Yes, but do we have Varane and Martinez and Erik ten Hag? Yes, that's my bias coming out again. So everyone get in the comments. Do you think Manchester United will get top 4? I'm actually quite interested to see what you guys think with that one, because at the start of the season it was like absolutely not, but now confidence is building again, and I don't want to get carried away just from a run of good form. It's got to be consistently, but I can only go off what I've seen so far, which is massive improvements. Maguire is bad when he wears the Man U jersey. Yeah, it might be pressured getting to him. Calm down, Beth. They have Haaland. I'm not going out there saying we're going to go and massively beat City. I just think it would be negative to completely write United off and say that we're not going to get a result against City, when apart from last year, which I think was a write-off because of how poor we were and just not in a good place, we've gone to the Etihad previously and got results when we've been the underdogs. And don't get me wrong, we are massively the underdogs. I'm not naive in that point. We are the underdogs, but at the same time, Aston Villa played well against Manchester City. Newcastle got a result. Like, there has been teams this season that have scored against them. So it's just whether we can keep Haaland and Foden and De Bruyne and all their amazing talent out, which is going to be very hard. The defense has been good, but that is a different kettle of fish in that sense. People saying 3rd to 4th, 6th, confidence is building, 5th at best, no consistent striker. Yeah, realistically, 5th is probably not a bad shout, but I wanted to say yes because I'm trying to be confident. I'm trying to be positive, and I'm going to stick with 4th, stick to my guns, see what happens. That's why you're skint betting on United. I actually don't bet on them because it just winds me up even more if we lose, and because I'm not going to bet against them. And yeah, why has this conversation got onto betting? But yeah, no, it just winds me up even more. So City defense is not great. I mean, it is good, but we can definitely score against them. So that's what we need to do. We need to take our chances and don't give up possession easily against City, because they will punish you. You can see with Haaland, 1 chance, 1 goal. That's all that it takes. So it's going to go one way or the other. I would hope so much that we could get a draw or a win, and I think a draw is definitely capable of 100% capable of getting a draw. So we'll just have to wait and see where we go on that one. And Beth, why not? Against City, we will get results. Yeah, I've said I'm confident. I think we can get a draw or a win. I do. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we can get a win out of this City game? I want to see how confident the chat is on this in that sense. And United top 4 this season. Casemiro starting, we can beat City. I don't think Casemiro will start. I think McTominay will start, definitely, without a doubt. He's been playing well. Ten Hag won't drop him. I think McTominay will start, unfortunately, for the people that want Casemiro to start. I'm not really too bothered because I think Scott's been playing well at the moment, so it doesn't really bother me too much. And I just wanted to bring in this little quote on Ronaldo quite quickly that I just saw on Twitter, and it was from the Brentford goalkeeper David Raya, and he said, "Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player I've ever faced. He's always a threat. Harry Kane, Son and De Bruyne are amazing as well." So again, big plaudits for Cristiano Ronaldo on that one. Of course, he's one of the best players in the world, one of the best players of all time. So that's bound to come out. But with Ronaldo, I've got a bit of stick previously for saying that I don't think he's playing well at the moment, which he's not. And people call me a Ronaldo hater. I'm absolutely not. If you know me at all, I'm not a Ronaldo hater. I love him as a player, and I've loved him for United as a player. And I've always kind of grown up is him as one of my favourite players, Cristiano Ronaldo. And last year I was so excited when he came back. I've got a little video on my phone of me reacting to it because I was actually at my other job at that time and I saw the news on my break and I was so excited. And I think Ronaldo is a brilliant player. I just don't think at the moment he's performing very well. But I definitely think that form can come back. And that's another addition that we can add to the strength of the squad. We need a striker, we do. And there's players that are playing very, very well, like Dallo, Varane, Martinez, Malacia, Ericsson. But there's players you can still get more out of, which I think is really good to see. Still got Martial to come back. Still got Ronaldo to come back. Not come back, but come back into form. And I mean that by being the Ronaldo that we know he can be. You've still got Sancho and Anthony to improve. They're playing well, but I still think there's levels that they can go up. Casemiro hasn't hit his level yet. So we've still got improvements, which is exciting as well, considering that we are playing quite well at the moment. So, yeah, it's good to know that we still actually have improvements there, and Erik ten Hag has got a higher ceiling to get to with this squad already, a massively higher ceiling. I do think it is only the start. And yeah, someone in the comments, remember to give a like. Make sure you do like. Make sure you do subscribe. I really appreciate it. I know it's been quite a long day of football, but this has been a really good conversation, guys, and it's been good to kind of check back in. I don't think I've done a live show just one-on-one for quite a while. So yeah, it's been good to kind of get everyone's opinions and talk about this stuff, because international breaks are always, for me, I don't like them because I just love Premier League football and watching Manchester United week in, week out. I was thinking to myself before how boring like life would be if football wasn't in it. Like on a weekend, like what would you actually like do? So yeah, international weeks aren't the best, but got news coming out like this. It's good to kind of talk about the team, kind of update back to how we're doing, how Erik ten Hag has time to kind of like realign himself. The squad goes out on their international duty, and the fact that we are keeping this form up with our players in international break is very good for confidence and form going into a really important game against City that Ten Hag's had more time to prepare for as well, but also Pep has as well. So it doesn't really give any advantages one way or the other. But one thing I did want to ask you guys before we do round up the show is I wanted to ask you, between, obviously, I think Martial is back fit and back in training. Martial, Ronaldo, Rashford, you have them options at the derby. Which one do you start up front is what I wanted to get off you guys, because personally for me, I wouldn't bring Martial straight back in. I'd bring him on maybe just after half time. I think he's such an important player, but you just don't want him to get injured. And with Ronaldo, do I think he'd suit the City game? Potentially if Rashford played on the left and offered him that pace and cut inside. But honestly, I'd probably start Rashford up front, which is crazy because I never thought I would say that. So I just wanted to kind of see what you guys did think along that one. And people saying I hate Ronaldo. I'm not even gonna listen because it's just not true. Martial, a lot of love for Martial. Martial would be my ideal starting striker, 1,000,000%. But I just don't want to risk him getting injured going into a game like that after not playing for a while. It's going to be intense. So I'd kind of bring him on at halftime, I think, like he did at the Liverpool game. For sure, Rashid, Ronaldo, and Martial useless. Martial and Ronaldo aren't useless, but Rashid is doing very well. Ronaldo is currently coming off the bench, so I wouldn't classify him as our main striker. Ronaldo and Martial, interesting. Rashford any day. You see, this is the thing, it's mixed, and it shows we've got no really consistent striker there because everyone has different thoughts. I'll have different thoughts to a lot of you guys. You guys will disagree with each other. So yeah, it's interesting to see, but I think the majority of people are saying Rashford or Martial. But Martial, I think you just don't want to risk the injury. And Jack McIntyre says, good show, Beth, and nice interview with Reddy. Oh, yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it already, I did an interview with Melissa Reddy, senior Sky Sports correspondent on United Stand. Something a little bit different. I was very suited and booted in my little blazer, and it was like kind of a podcast sort of vibe and got really in depth, just good conversation. And it was really good to kind of see into the inside of the club, the identity behind Erik ten Hag, what he wants for the team, what he wants for the club, the structure behind it, what his plans are for January, summer, his plans around regarding different players in the squads and how he's kind of adapted. It was really, really good. So if you haven't checked that out already, go and check that out. But yeah, make sure you guys get your comments in about Maguire's comments. Do you think he should be making them comments as Manchester United captain? Also making it very clear that he is Manchester United captain in his interviews, which there's nothing wrong with that. He is. But do you think he really should be using Euros team of the season when he got injured as kind of an excuse to say that he's good in a way? Get in your comments as well what you thought about Jaap Stam and Johnson, but their opinions on Erik ten Hag and the team. And also another big shout out, who would you rather have as manager for England, Goldbridge or Southgate? That is the real question, because we know that Goldbridge now has that attacking football that Southgate's lacking. So yeah, a good performance from Goldbridge at the charity match as well. Money raised for charity there. Money raised for charity today at Anfield with